Welcome to the new office. For the entire month of October, I was moving, and it was so painful that it forced me to make some music. Good thing I don't ever have to go to that old apartment again. What? Who's calling? Okay, it's strange. Hello? Wait. Are you serious? You're joking. No. Seriously? Are you telling me I have to drive all the way back?
So what in the world is happening? So basically, I get a call from my old landlord, right? And he said that they don't do like an official checkout, but what we have to do is we have to clean the apartment, we have to send them a video of the full apartment, and then we have to send them the code. All of which I could have done last week. So to make this fun, I'm turning this into a little challenge. So we're making the road trip so that way I don't want to kill myself.
Now with this specific challenge in mind, I decided to put a few mandatory rules on myself to make this a little more interesting. Rule number 1, it has to be an independent diner that I've never been to. So sorry Denny's, love you to death, but you're not allowed here. Rule 2, I will order a skillet and hot chocolate, because typically with these kinds of restaurants, that's what I would normally get. So if they don't have that, then I'm not gonna want to go there again, because I am a creature of habit that is stuck in my own ways. Sorry, clean eating, road trips weren't made for you. Rule number 3, every restaurant has its own specials. So can I find these specials without asking the waitress? Rule number 4, I have to find the cheapest thing on the menu and the most expensive thing. Rule number 5, I have to find the most obscure decoration in the restaurant, because let's be real, you can't have a family restaurant without one random thing just being thrown into the decor for literally no reason. Rule number 6, once I'm on the road trip, I am not allowed to look at this list of rules, which means I literally won't know if I'm breaking any until after the road trip, or after the menu's already gone and I forgot to look at the things I was supposed to. So the beginning of the day was very interesting. I woke up at around 6:30 and I was planning to leave around 7. There was a specific problem though that I forgot, even though it's October and it's cold. I didn't have a scraper. I had to use the shovel in my car to try to scrape it off. I was so afraid I was gonna scratch the windows. Thankfully I didn't, but that was very annoying. And that was all in like the first hour. So I was late basically. I was planning to be at the restaurant at 7 and I didn't get there till around 7:30 because I had to deal with this stupid freaking ice on my car. So at hour 2, I was supposed to leave the restaurant by then, but I was about just getting there at that point.
I'm so hungry.
The place was pretty nice, honestly. I really liked the vibe that they were going for. Literally, as soon as I walked in the door, there was a music artist that I've been talking to for a while who called me out of nowhere on Instagram, and so I initially did not answer, but as soon as I walked in the restaurant and got a table and I was waiting for the waitress, that's when I answered. This person, I bought a beat from him, and eventually we got to talking because he was having some PayPal issues with the money that I sent him. But I felt kind of bad because like I was on the phone when the waitress walked up, so I was trying to get off the phone, but he kept asking me questions like what BPM you want. I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't care, just whatever works. So I could get off the phone because the waitress is like standing right here and I'm like trying to get off the phone. He's a great guy though. I love his music. No hate to him. It was just a very awkward situation for me.
There's literally loud music blaring, so I don't know if I can even put this in the video. There's not really like a weird decoration. I see like a fish mermaid tail in a vase in like the kitchen. Other than that, there's like this cool LED sign. That's really it. This place is pretty modern, honestly. It looks really nice. They have a make your own skillet that I really like. I like this place. It's a vibe.
I got my hot chocolate.
Little bit of a taste test here.
That's very chocolatey. That's pretty good actually. It's nothing like super grand like I've had before, but it's good.
After this awkward encounter and after I ordered, I made a startling realization. They use Swiss Miss for their hot chocolate. They used pre-packaged hot chocolate for their hot chocolate. In a place like this, I was kind of surprised that they used pre-packaged hot chocolate. I love pre-packaged hot chocolate, but if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm expecting a little bit more because like I can do the same at home, you know? So that was a little bit off-putting for me personally, but you know, It's hot chocolate. I'm gonna drink it. When I finally got my food, they brought it out on this like wooden engraved board that I really liked. I like that little touch that they added. They also brought out ketchup and hot sauce, neither of which I used because with skillets I typically don't put anything on it. I ordered sourdough bread, which sourdough toast is probably one of the best kinds of toast you can have. Fight me in the comments. And that was good. I liked the bread. They didn't have like a meat eater skillet like I typically get, so instead I got this like country fried steak skillet. Oh my gosh, it was so freaking good. I rarely get like country fried anything, so it sounded good on the menu because the toppings I also liked. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try, and oh my gosh, I'm going back. It's so good. The bill ended up being about $20. Most of that was the skillet, so about $15 was for the skillet, about $5 for the hot chocolate, which for pre-packaged hot chocolate had a very great deal. But the actual meal was fantastic and I loved it.
So that was pretty good. Shut up, car. I didn't realize until after the fact, I didn't find the most expensive or least expensive thing on the menu. And I don't know what their specials are. Anyways, they literally have a breakfast truck here, which is cool. I love this place. I'd definitely come again. So I highly recommend it.
Hour 3 and 4 was basically just driving to the apartment, which was the whole reason I was doing the trip in the first place. After I did what I was supposed to do, I was finally able to go out to eat once again at Coal City Family Restaurant. Now this place was very interesting. On Google Maps, it seemed like a pretty decent place to eat, right? Well, I didn't look closely enough, apparently.
Now, here's the problem. The name of the restaurant on Google Maps is not the same as the actual restaurant. The actual restaurant is a literal hole in the wall that I'm kind of scared to walk into. It looks very not great, and I feel like it's gonna be an opposite vibe to what the first restaurant we went to, which is the dumbest thing because I passed by about 4 different diners to get to this one, which I didn't see on Google Maps before whatsoever. So I'm very reluctant to walk into this one, but we're going to, and we'll see what happens.
So it threw me off. I passed it. I'm like, wait, that's it? No, what? There was also a guy just standing in front of the restaurant, just like with a bag in his hand, and I was like, this is a little sketchy. So the outside presentation, not that great. I was actually kind of terrified to even walk into the place. I was afraid I was gonna get mugged or something, which isn't great because this is a literal family restaurant. It was also kind of off-putting because the town it was in was actually a pretty decent place from the outside, at least when I was driving through. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a decent place to live, you know? I was extremely hesitant to walk in, but for the sake of the video, for the sake of the content, because of the content, I pushed through and I entered the restaurant.
This place is weird. This place is so strange. This is not how I thought it would look on the inside. There's also other people here, so I'm very hesitant to be loud. Playing rock music for some reason.
This is what I have to say about the Coal City Family Restaurant. When you first walk in, it's decent, it's okay. You can tell it's definitely an older restaurant that's been there for a while and they didn't really update it whatsoever. When I tried to sit in the booth, it was a little too tight, so that was a little off-putting because I'm still trying to get the quarantine weight off. Their hot chocolate was really good, which I very much appreciated. I'm pretty sure they didn't use Swiss Miss because it definitely tasted a lot better than the previous restaurant, which is good. I noticed that their clientele were a lot of older people, which I'm kind of used to because like my hometown family restaurant had a lot of like older people there, and that's fine, honestly. Like I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I kind of like the vibe because it tends to be quieter and I like that kind of atmosphere. It just seemed like a very old hole in the wall place that these people kind of grew up with, so they're just like, hey, you want to go to Ollie's? Yeah, let's go. And then they go there like every week, you know? It just seems like their kind of thing. One problem though is that they didn't have sourdough, and I need my sourdough bread, please. They did have Texas toast, so that's a good second option. I like Texas toast too, that's fine. You can tell I like bread, right? And they did have skillets, so that was good too. The toast and the hot chocolate, really good. I really liked it. I was actually very surprised. The skillet I got, however, the Denver skillet, it was okay. It didn't taste very seasoned, and the potatoes were like weirdly stringy, not in like a good way. It was either the potatoes or the onions. It was very weird and I didn't really like it all that much. When I looked around the atmosphere while trying to eat the entirety of my skillet to seem polite, it wasn't bad. It was just like, I don't want to eat this, but I kind of need my energy to drive because I need protein because I can't have caffeine, so the way I get my energy is food. When I looked around, I noticed that there were like 3 different style of like bulb holdings, like chandeliers kind of. There was also a kid just hanging around the restaurant, which I kind of just assumed it was the owners. But overall, it was a pretty conversational yet dingy place. If you care about food but not really about atmosphere, I would see why people would want to go there. I need a little bit of atmosphere though, for me personally. Like, I enjoy people watching and I enjoy like seeing the environment. Like, I love looking around and seeing the little things and seeing like the overall vibe of the place, right? This place really didn't have that, so it didn't spark my interest all that much. It felt kind of boring. The bill I got was almost $10, which was definitely cheaper than the previous restaurant. Also, the hot chocolate was like $1. The hot chocolate at the first place was like $5, but this hot chocolate was better. So definitely, if I want hot chocolate, that's definitely the place to go.
I feel kind of bad writing what I did, like note-wise about the restaurant. I wasn't super impressed. Like, it's not bad, like by any means, but comparatively to all of like the small town diners I visited in my entire life, I don't think that'll be one I'll be going to again. Not because it's bad, it's just, it's not as impressive as I want to. Everything was good food-wise, except for like the main course. But I got a skillet, so now I know that their thing isn't skillets, you know? I don't know, maybe their thing is pancakes. I honestly don't know. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so I don't know what their specialty is. I couldn't even find like the random funny thing like in this restaurant. There really was nothing super characteristic about it. I said dingy because like I don't know what other word there is to kind of describe it. It's like super old town diner, a bunch of like older people are there. It's more so like a step down. Like there was really no decorations. It was kind of bare. It felt really weird. The outside doesn't help, and then when you step in, it's like, oh, okay, this is nice-ish. But to be clear, it's not a bad place, it's not the best place. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want to bash these people. They're trying their best. It just wasn't my favorite, you know? There will only be one favorite diner of mine that I haven't gone to in like a year or two-ish. So nothing's going to replace that, obviously.
Hour 5, 6, and 7 was basically just driving home at that point because I had gotten everything done that I needed to get done. As we have learned, not all diners are created equal. Sure, it's good to support small businesses, but if you don't have a good environment and decor, well then that just may turn some people away. Not everyone, obviously, since both diners had their own clientele before I even walked in the door, and they enjoyed it. But there were definitely pros and cons to both places. I have the belief that nothing is perfect, so there's always going to be something wrong with everything. In the end, they were both using what was available to them, so I can't really fault them for that. But what I can say is that it's always good to try new experiences, even if they may occasionally seem scary at first. So, support your small town restaurants because they make the tastiest of art.